false beliefs about the world that hold you back, freedom from harmful social interactions or within society. So there's lots of different facets of freedom. And I can remember, that day when I quit my job, August 15th, 2003, and coming home, and I think I've told the story before, the construction paper numbers were on the wall. We had like 5 or 6 or 7 of them and taking one down every day. I took down the number 1 because it was the last day. And I remember I have a picture of it, burning that over the sink, that number 1, and just feeling an incredible freedom because I knew the next morning I was going to wake up and do what I wanted. And I had some ideas that wasn't all quite clear to me, but there was definitely a sense of freedom that I was looking for right away. And that was just, that was a wonderful thing.
Yeah, the fantastic thing about online business is that it can very well lead to this. And in fact, for me, this was probably my top reason for going into internet business is I wanted freedom of time and location. So this was actually the one thing I was absolutely sure of when I started. And by all evidence of people that I saw that was actually doing the internet business, it looked like they had that option. So this was the one I knew I wanted to get. And that was, again, it was mostly the freedom of time and location, but it has later became a lot more things. And again, after digging down, you were talking about freedom from harmful social interactions or, internal beliefs and stuff. And again, one of the things that I've talked about before was I really, really hated not being able to be myself at work. And I also didn't like pretending I was interested in things that I wasn't. Really hated that. And that probably drained me even more as somebody's blathering on about stuff that I've got to smile and nod like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's take care of that. And I'm like going, if this never happened, I would be happier probably.
Right. You start feeling like a trained monkey. And I don't know. I'd venture to say most trained monkeys probably aren't happy. So. No, yeah, it's interesting, that freedom. I think that's for a lot of people. It is the reason that they dive into this. And but you pegged it when you said it can very well lead to happiness. But it's important also to ask ourselves, well, why do we want that freedom? What are we going to do with that freedom? I mean, I think most people, even though for a bit you might think, well, this is great, I'm going to sit around and watch TV and eat potato chips. At some point that's not going to do it for you. For me, it ended up, I loved being free and doing whatever I want, but it also led me to a state where I was working all the time. Now that became part of my identity. And because I hadn't really taken the time to ask myself, well, what am I going to do with this new freedom? And I still had some self-discovery to do. I can remember a time where I was just constantly, I'd work 12 or 16 hours a day and I wasn't even necessarily productive at it. I was, but it was just this, someday I'll be happy. But right now I got to get into it and get some stuff done. And that's, that someday I'll be happy is insidious and a dangerous thing, which is why freedom in and of itself is not enough. It has to be balanced with a couple other things. And that's where the relationships and the purpose come in, because, at some point I realized, I'm not spending enough time with friends, and that's something that really fulfills me. And, I could definitely give my wife more of my time, and we didn't have kids yet, but I think, it's another thing a lot of people run into, whether in employment or in their own business, is if they're not careful, it just ends up being another job and it takes them away from those relationships that do. And everyone's going to have a different definition of what those relationships and connections that are important to them, whether it's kids or partner, spouse, family, big family, small family, girlfriend, boy, whatever, or just some people that you go and have coffee with and talk about the meaning of life. But, if you're not balancing that against or asking yourself, well, what do I want to do with the freedom? Then you can find yourself way out of whack pretty quickly.
Yeah, and actually for me, online business actually led to me having more and more time with my kids. And at the time, that wasn't, just the freedom in general was my thing, but this was just an awesome side effect of it, because my ex-wife actually works during the day. So I've been the one to actually take my kids to the doctor or the dentist, or anytime they have anything to do with school during the day, I'm the one that goes and takes care of that. And the awesome thing is I can always be there. There's never been any time restriction or job or any excuse I can give as to why I can't go do that. Even just in the last month, my one daughter had a singing event at her school that just happened to be in the middle of the day. And a lot of people were mad that they couldn't move it at night, but I was able to be there with the small handful of people and watch her sing, which she gets very excited that, we can be there, or at least I can be there. Somebody's there for her.
Right.
And, definitely internet business has added that new level to relationships that it was just been kind of a cherry on top of everything else.
Now, the other thing that we want to offset with freedom, and this is why we talk about lifestyle design and what kind of business is going to fulfill you, what's your passion, because we could just teach you, okay, here's the fastest way to make money or something like that. But again, if we just chase money and freedom, then we're going to find ourselves in a position where we're not going towards happiness. And that's why the other thing to offset this or balance this with, or another critical piece, another pillar that holds us up, is purpose. And over the years, my business has come more and more in alignment with my strengths and my fulfillment factors and my unique abilities. The things, as I discover the things, yes, I enjoy doing this. You know what? Nope, I don't enjoy doing that so much. It drains my energy. Oh, this is the kind of value I want to offer to people. And these are the kinds of people I want to work with. And, I started out in real estate investing, and that was fine to start. I definitely discovered a lot about myself. I mean, by taking that action and diving in, a lot of opportunities opened up. I met new people. I had leadership opportunities, teaching opportunities that led me to discover it's like, what I really like doing is teaching, not going out and deal making in real estate. And so then I end up in podcasting, and that was fun because I was helping people with this technology. And there's a side of me that's good at technology, but really, as I discovered more, what it was that I enjoy doing is empowering people with a voice and a channel to live their passion through the internet and to make money off of it, empower them with this freedom. And so really at the core, that's what's making me happy. And the more I know that about myself, the more I can gear my business activities towards doing those things that do fulfill me and that I'm good at, that will allow me to deliver the greatest value to other people as well as to myself. So that's been, purpose has been this interesting path, and I wasn't as aware of it earlier, and I'm sure there's still more things I need to learn about myself, but it's been this very key part to the progression towards increased success and increased happiness with my business, is getting more in alignment with who I am and what my purpose is. And the definite major purpose, I know, is something that you helped bring into the Internet Business Mastery curriculum, because, it is such an important part of this whole puzzle.
Yeah, and honestly, the purpose was an exhilarating side effect of internet business for me. I certainly didn't start to find my purpose. Like I said, I did it for freedom, but it's definitely helped me develop and really have the time needed to find my definite major purpose. And I think that actually might be the greatest side effect that has led to more and more happiness for me, is realizing this whole purpose thing and then doing what it takes to make that a huge part of my life, which actually makes the rest of it more enjoyable. Like, it makes my relationships more enjoyable. And for sure, my kids seeing that I'm dealing with my purpose and I'm so happy and joyful from that makes our relationships better, makes them see even a brighter future for themselves, and just makes my freedom that I do have more enjoyable. And that was just something that kind of happened as, like you said, you did real estate in the beginning, and I did some eBay stuff where I was shipping things all the time. And I actually realized, I don't enjoy this at all. And that's what actually kind of led to me going, hey, I want to do something I enjoy. And that led to the whole definite major purpose stuff, as well as reading Think and Grow Rich and just other books that made me start really looking at finding that for myself. It's funny because this whole internet business thing, I'm always so surprised when I'm looking at other people's products that teach this stuff. And the majority, if not most of them, don't ever talk about this mindset stuff. And I found that that's actually the thing that makes it work. Like, anybody can go, okay, here's how you do an autoresponder and here's how you set up WordPress. But it's all the other stuff around it that makes it so that it's a joyful, happy thing to do. Because in the end, this is just, it's a business. And a business can certainly be fun if you're a super entrepreneur, but that wasn't exactly how I was. It's the growth and all the other stuff that made the freedom more enjoyable, and being able to understand who I am and all that stuff so that I can really love and enjoy doing this.
Right. We all think, and I remember being there as well, we all think that the people who have been successful in this already, there's some secret sauce that they've tapped into, some secret traffic source, some special way of fulfilling products, something that's that missing piece. And if only we knew that missing piece or had that secret sauce, then we'd finally bust through to the next level of success, and that there must be just holding that one thing back for themselves. And